recording this. Hey guys, we are very excited to have you all here for our very last virtual masterclass for the time being. We have a fantastic guest artist today, Emily Faith. I'll get to her in just a little bit. It's going to be a smaller group of people today, so please go ahead and turn on your cameras if you're able to. We would love to see your face. There's some interactive parts of this, so we want to make sure that we can really just start talking to each other and have a conversation going. When we aren't speaking, just make sure you have your microphone on mute so that we can just eliminate any unwanted audio. But other than that, DSM welcomes you. We're excited to have you here. And I'm going to throw it over to Emily.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name's Emily Faith. I'm so glad you're here. I am a theater practitioner. I'm an actor, a director. I run a small theater company here in Dallas. Are y'all all in Dallas? You can raise your hand or nod your head. Yeah. Great. Seth also raised his hand. Seth is my neighbor. He's down 2 apartments from me. So I have been in the theater world pretty much my whole life. And most recently, I've been working to get my master's in drama therapy. So a lot of what we do is use performance as a way to kind of explore our inner worlds, which can, when I first heard about it, I was like, that sounds really hokey and like lame. But the more that I've gotten into it and the more that I've read and the more that I've experienced, you all know, does everyone perform, or kind of what capacity are y'all in? If everyone wants to, you can come off of mute and video for this, because I'd love to interact. But yeah, does everyone act, direct, tech, all of it? All that good stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the more I've learned about drama therapy, the more I've seen, how what I do as a theater practitioner really was something that was therapeutic or had the opportunity to be healing. And I just wanted to learn more about it. So today we're going to do, we're just going to interact with one another, and we're going to do a little bit of what kind of a drama therapy in devising theater would look like. Has anyone done devised theater before, or kind of know what I'm talking about? Seth raised his hand. Laura, Savannah. Yeah. So devising theater is you just make up a play. I've been doing like a play in a day kind of thing with people who come in, and we talk about our feelings. No, we do a lot of exercises and kind of figure out what comes out. What are some topics that keep popping up, just like you would in any devised piece. And then we create a piece of theater from that. So I'd love to kind of walk y'all through what that would look like today, if that sounds good to you. 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up. Okay, there's people coming. Great. So I was about to say, we gotta get going. I introduced myself. I'd love to do like a little warm-up game, if we would. If anyone, and this is gonna be weird. Madeline, Josh, and there's 2 Joshes. If you want to turn off your camera, can you do that? If you don't, this might be a little challenging, but we'll work with it. So I'd love to get everyone. Is everyone off mute? Can you take yourself off mute?
Yes.
Nice, because we're going to talk to each other at 10 a.m. Great. I just want to do a little warm-up game where you say your name and do a motion with your body. It can be small, it can be big. So we all get to know each other, and then everyone else repeats it. So I'll start. I don't have to be Miss Emily because y'all are grown. So what am I going to do? Emily, and then you would all repeat that.
Emily.
Emily.
Nice. Seth, why don't you go next?
Seth.
I thought you said death at first. I was like, that's really a lot for this morning. Savannah, will you go next?
Savannah.
Laura. Laura. Madeline.
Madeline.
Great. Joshua.
Joshua.
You all need a haircut. Last but not least, I just have your name as SN.
Oh, it's Rebecca.
It's Rebecca? Mm-hmm. Hey, Rebecca. You want to do a motion with your body?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Great.
Rebecca.
Perfect. So now we're going to take that and do it, but kind of sinking into how you're feeling today about being on this Zoom meeting with a crazy woman who is asking you to do some drama therapy. So I want you to kind of sink in. How are you feeling physically today? Do you have any aches? Do you have anything going on? Mentally, how are you feeling about being here emotionally? And this time you're going to do a sound and emotion based on that. So for me, and then we'll all repeat it. I'm feeling really like, and y'all would all repeat, really tired. We'll go in the same order. Seth, how are you feeling today?
Woohoo!
Oh, wow. Woohoo! Savannah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura.
Yay.
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 Good. Madeline.
Yeah.
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 Good. Joshua.
Uh.
Yeah.
And last but not least, is it Jessica?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Rebecca, we can see the top of your hands. Do you want to show us how you're feeling today? Oh, I love that. Do you have a sound that goes with that? Good. We can start popcorning out. What are you seeing that people are feeling? How are you-
Mediocre.
Mediocre. The group's kind of mediocre. Yeah. Yeah. I see some nods. Like, yeah, some mediocrity. Anything else that's popping out? Some people were excited.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
thinking like Seth and I had some pop rocks in our toast or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. You and Seth really woke up this morning. And then we have some people who are like, I am going to be positive, but I'm not sure. Some apprehension. I like that too. Cool. So that's just a check-in that I like to do. I do it with any class that I teach, and I do it with any show that I direct. For some of you that said you are wanting to direct, or anytime that you're leading a group, it is kind of silly, but I think it's a good way to get a good temperature on how your team is feeling that day. So then you know how to interact with the people around you and support the people around you. It doesn't mean you're in charge of their emotions, but it's a really good place to be. And it's something that as a theater practitioner, I've been making sure I don't need you to tell me your life story. We are still here to do a job, but just doing a silly sound and motion of just how you're feeling is a really good way, I think, from a leadership position and a team member position in theater to know, okay, we're coming in, we're being vulnerable, we're working on something, but I kind of know that Seth is like, pop rocks with Laura today, and that Joshua's like, it's fine, it's great, and needs a haircut because he did. Perfect. So that's kind of why I do that exercise. I want to move into a little thing called statues. So if you could make a statue zoom out of today, like we kind of zoomed into how you're feeling right in this moment. If you could zoom out to this week and create just a statue of if you had to create a statue, if you sculpted something that was representative of this week in your body, what would that look like? And you can just take up whatever part that you want. So it's what's today? It's Wednesday. Great. It's Wednesday, but this Wednesday from last Wednesday, maybe if you could create a sculpture that went in a museum, what would it look like? And just show us on your body. You can take a second. I'm going to think, how do I feel this week? So I'm thinking, Laura, how you feeling? Some thumbs down, some wonkiness. Great. Good. Take a minute if you can to see everyone else's sculpture too. All right, shake that off. And we'll do one at a time. So Seth, we're going to go to you first and do your sculpture again for us. And Seth, if you could title this sculpture, what would it be?
It would be called Salvador.
Salvador. Because you have a doggy.
Yes, I just adopted a dog on Monday. And his name is Salvador Doggy because he is a Greyhound mix and is the longest boy.
So your week's been real doggy.
Been very doggy.
Awesome. Savannah, you were kind of giving us this. You don't have to tell us about it, but if you give us a title, what would it be?
Insanity.
Insanity. Is it the last week of school for a lot of y'all, or if you've already done school? Is it over? Yeah,
I've been done for a little.
some people done. Laura, what was your pose again?
Like this.
A little twisted as well. If you could give this
Yeah.
statue had a title, what would it be?
I would call it embracing the unknown because, like, I don't know, man, but I did this like cross thing because I'm like here for it.
You're here. Well, yeah, you can see like your hands are kind of open. There's this like I'm open to it, but it's not completely.
I
open.
don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
I was like, okay.
Madeline, can we see your statue again?
It's kind of like this. I think this week I've been really bored because school ended and then you're kind of trying to figure out how you're going to spend your time. So I was just kind of lost in what to do last week.
A little bored. If you could title it, what would it be titled?
Bored and only slightly sad.
Bored and only slightly sad. I can like, and only slightly sad is like either in italics or like a smaller print or something, or in parentheses. Great. Joshua.
I did this, and it's like my fingers are kind of twisted, so it'd be like twisted confusion.
Twisted confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I feel like there is a theme. I think everyone has kind of had something twisted about them in this. And then last but not least, what was the pose that we saw? Oh, 2 thumbs down. And if we could give the 2 thumbs down a title, what would that be?
Interesting week.
Hey, Rebecca, if you can get a little bit closer to your microphone, we can't hear you.
A bad and interesting week.
A bad and interesting week, Rebecca. That also sounds like a book title. Go with that. Cool. So now we're going to kind of do the same thing again. What I kind of mentioned it physically, I started seeing people like kind of crossing their bodies. Were there anything else that the group noticed that were connecting points between each person?
Touching their face.
Touching your face. Oh yeah, I did mine. I forgot to show y'all. Mine was this. Touching your face. Anything else? There was a general sense of like maybe it's slanted negative, but that's not bad. Like it was just like people are kind of in it right now. Kind of is what it felt like.
I saw like internal.
Yeah, people are coming in like kind of like self-protection maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Holding themselves. That's great. Yeah. All right, everyone shake that off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Good. So that would be an exercise that I would use like as we're just kind of building to start getting an idea of maybe common themes that came up that we could use in whatever play that we created. So physically, there was a lot of bound motion. We had this sense of uncertainty. We had this feeling of boredom. Maybe we'd start the play and everyone's in their sculpture and gives it a title. And then we go from there and explore a museum. I have no idea. But that's a way to start getting, you don't really have to be too creative or ask your group for too much other than to check in with themselves to start getting some material to create a play. And then as a drama therapist, I'm thinking, okay, this is where this person is today. When we check in tomorrow, like, let's see what has shifted and be curious about why. Where are we on time? Oh, perfect. I love my life. Great. We're going to do, some of y'all may have done this before. We're going to do a mirror exercise. Has anyone done just like a general theater mirror exercise? Great. We're going to do that as a way, I still think it's really important even on Zoom to connect as much physically as we can. So I'll start leading the mirror exercise and then I'll just call out names and you'll just kind of take over. And so just most of you know when we mirror, we're trying to not outwit our opponents. We're trying to make it look as cohesive as possible. So I'll start and you're just going to mirror my motion and then I'll start throwing the leadership to other people. Sound good? Great. Okay. And you're going to do what I'm doing. Make it good. right, Savannah, if you'll take over. We're going to follow Savannah. Awesome. Laura? Laura's taken over. The head holding again. Good. Madeline? Joshua? You'll take over? Seth? Oh, I like it. Is it Rebecca? Rebecca, if you'll take over. Oh, good. Great. And as we're going to go through again, I'm going to challenge you, what can we move that's not our arms and hands? So, Savannah. And Laura. Good. And Madeline. And Joshua. And Rebecca. No, that one feels good. And Seth. That's kind of fun. All right, shake that off, shake that off, shake that off. Great, let's talk about that. What did we notice? What are we curious about? What connections can be made? What did you feel? Oh, yes, Joshua.
So I feel like we all like lean towards, our heads obviously and like shoulders and because we weren't gonna like go all out and like start using legs or whatever. We were just gonna like, be resourceful.
Be resourceful. I love that. I teach kids online and we do like the countdown shakeout and I always just pretend to shake my legs. I don't ever do it. Anything else that we noticed or felt? It felt really fun when like it went from Rebecca, like the banging of the head was something my body related to. It was like, oh, my body needed to do that. And then going to Seth's afterwards being a little bit lighter. I really liked the shift there. It felt good. Like I got to explore some different parts. Any other thoughts before we move it on? Any questions for me? Like why I'm doing what I'm doing? No, y'all are like, just keep on going, lady. Great. Who knows? Does anyone know each other in this group?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yes, no, some of you. Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split you into breakout groups. Bum, bum, bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, Seth, will you be with one person? Will you be in a breakout group with us? You're on mute. Oh.
Yeah, of course. I don't know how to do breakout groups.
Oh, I
don't know
forgot
if we
I'm not
have-
in charge here. Can you make me the co-host?
Yes.
Do that. Okay.
I think I can.
I should have asked for this before. So if we get to go to breakout rooms, what I want you to do is think about it's open. You have 1 minute to tell I'm now the co-host. Oh, boo.
I don't know if we have breakout option. This is
That's okay. That's okay. Great. Do you see anything on the bottom of your screen that says breakout room, like near share screen or chat? There's like a panel. That's fine. Guess what? We're theater people. We can adjust. So what I'd like to do is I would like each of us just to tell one story, and I'm still going to assign you a partner. Tell a story. It can be anything. It'll only be a minute. I'm not going to give you anything else other than that. The job of the partner that I assign you is to pay very, very close attention to the story that's being told, how it's being told, what physicality is being used, tonality of voice. Your job is to take everything in. Got it? All right, I'm just going to do the people who are right on top of each other. So Seth and Rebecca, Madeline and Savannah, Laura and Joshua. Y'all will be paying attention to one another. Laura, Joshua, Madeline, Savannah, Rebecca, Seth, and I will be the head on top. Great. So what I want to do is just take 1 minute, and we're going to hear your story. Just anything that you have to say. It doesn't have to be a full minute. It can be 30 seconds, but your partner, just enough where your partner can really take in what you're doing. Any questions? Yeah, Rebecca?
Who's saying the story? Like, am I saying it or is saying it?
So first, what we'll do is you'll tell your own story.
Okay.
But let's just go in the same order we've been going. So Savannah, are you ready? Do you have something to share for 30 seconds?
Sure.
Okay, great. And then your job, Madeline, is just to take this all in. Okay, whenever you're ready, Savannah.
All right. So I remember that I went to Gulf Shores, Alabama with all of my cousins and my aunts and uncles and sisters, and it was really fun. And one day we were swimming around on the in the water with these tiny little nets, trying to catch these mini rays, like these mini little stingrays. And I was just snorkeling around, and I ran straight into one, and it was right in front of my face. And at first I was really scared, but then I caught it, and we put it back, so we didn't kill it or anything like that. But I remember you could like pet one side of it, and it was all slimy, but if you touch the other side, it's like a tiny little shark. And I thought that was really fun and interesting.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for sharing. So what we'll do is we'll just have everyone share, so the partner's just going to hold that information in your brain if you can. Yes, Rebecca.
So does it have to be like a made up story or like a real story?
It can be literally anything that you want. You can lie to me all day long. It can be, that's fine. Just as long as it's appropriate is good with me. And I'll trust y'all know what that is. Okay, Laura. Joshua, you're paying attention to Laura's story.
Okay, so a couple years ago when I was in high school, we did the Addams Family musical, and our school got out at 4, and we had a 4:30 call time, which really you were supposed to like bring your own food so that you wouldn't have to leave to go get food. But I'm Mexican, and they had just opened up a like authentic Mexican restaurant like 5 minutes away from school. So my friend and I, who's also Mexican, I was like, Naomi, let's go get some tacos. So we ran to go get tacos, and we ordered them to go, but they took a little longer because they only had one girl working, and like the place was new, so she was new, so it took a little bit to figure it out. And we're like barely making it out on time, and she was so stressed about we're gonna be late to our call time that don't panic. We got in a car crash, but everyone was okay. And so I took out my phone, and my friend goes, "Are you calling 911?" And I was like, I should do that. I was going to call our stage manager. Yeah, so I called my mom, called 911, and then I called my stage manager. We were like an hour and a half late to call time. We got there like 20 minutes to curtain. I went and I sat down. My best friend, she was head of makeup, and it was Addams Family. So I had to have like completely white base, like ghosty eyes, everything. It was like skeletal makeup, and I'm barely there. And she's like, "Oh, where were you?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you an excuse." And then 3 days later, she finds out, and she's like, "Were you in a car crash?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I was late." And she was like, "I was so mad at you. You should have told me." And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry."
That's fine. Sorry. Great. Thanks. People are already having some responses to your story, which I love. All right. So, Rebecca, will you tell Seth your story?
Okay, so this is kind of a weird story, but it happened when I was little. So there was this one time I made I wanted to be part of this Pac-Man thing. So I basically made little paper ghosts and I hung them up on my tree outside. And me and my sister took a water gun and started shooting them. And basically, a couple minutes later, it started thundering. And so we went inside and it was this torrential rainstorm. And so when I came out the next day, all of the paper ghosts were gone. And so on the same day that we found out that they were gone, me and my mom and my sister went to the store. And when we went to the store and we came back, we started driving down into our driveway. And there was a man who was in our driveway and he was laying something on the stairs. And we had no clue what it was. And my mom thought it was a bomb. It was not. Thank the Lord. It was a piece of paper and he laid it down on the stairs. And when he laid it down on the stairs, he looked at us. He went back into his car and he drove away. And we never saw him again. But when we went up to the stairs to see what it was a washed out paper ghost of the one that I made a couple days ago. And I was just and I've never seen this man in my neighborhood before. So I was like, what? So yeah, really
Whoa.
gory.
What a strangely good Samaritan. Here's your ghost back. That's great. Awesome. So we're gonna go now. Madeline will tell her story, and then we'll go from there. And Savannah, you're paying attention to Madeline. Sorry.
You're fine. When I was 6 years old, I was a little Girl Scout. I did end up quitting Girl Scout, but I was a Girl Scout. And I found out you could earn a badge just by going to watch a show and getting a tour backstage. And I wanted all of the badges. So I went to see Seussical the Musical, and I got a backstage tour, and I'd never seen a live show before. And I was so excited. And I remember about halfway through the show during intermission, I turned to all my friends next to me and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be in Seussical. I'm going to do that thing. And my parents were there and they thought I was crazy. But then I ended up doing theater.
Awesome. Thanks for your story. All right, Joshua.
Okay, so at first I was gonna start retelling A New Hope, from Star Wars, but now I was like, nah. So I was in the car and we were gonna go take my dog out for a walk at the park. It was gonna be amazing and it was a really nice day outside and we decided to go to the park. So we got out of the car and we start walking down the road, sidewalk at the park, and there's a lot of grass and trees, but mainly just grass. And there's lots of dogs that are being walked as well, other than mine. So I see this golden retriever, and this was around 3 years ago. And I just loved golden retrievers at that time. I still do, but um, I just have a thing for other breeds of dogs now, like huskies or all these other ones. But back then, golden retrievers was my thing. So I was like, I need to pet him so bad. I asked the owner, and she's like, yeah. And then the dog was so friendly. He was just going all up on me, on my leg. Obviously, he was trying to get pet more or whatever. And so I started petting him, and then we went our separate ways, and we went back to the car, and then it started smelling really bad. I was like, what's going on? What the heck? So then my mom was like, well, did you step on something? I'm like, no, I didn't. And I checked my shoes, and then right when I went to check my shoes, I saw this glob of brown on my sweatpants. So it turns out that this dog wasn't just trying to get pet, he was just trying to get the crap off of his butt on my sweatpants.
Oh no.
So there you go. Golden
Thank
retrievers.
What a crappy situation.
It was hilarious.
That's great, Joshua. Thank you for sharing. All right, and Seth, this is your story, and Rebecca is going to try to remember it.
All right. So I grew up in Brownsville, Texas, and me and my two brothers and my sister-in-law, back when a couple years ago when I was visiting, went to this place called Bob's World, which is a whole different thing. I don't want to talk about that too much. It's everything and nothing. But part of it is this like laser tag area. And we went to go play, and usually like it's just like us and a couple other people because it's not like a very good place. But there was this birthday party full of like little kids playing laser tag. And so we were like, well, we're here to play, so we're going to play. And we decided to play with this birthday party. And so it was like me and my two brothers versus probably like 10-year-olds and my sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law decided to get like all of the like little 10-year-olds and strategize. And at one point they cornered us, and she was just like, scatter, get them, and was just like commanding this group of 10-year-old army to beat us in laser tag. They didn't because we were old, but they did good.
Awesome. Great. All right. Thank you all for sharing these stories. So what we're going to do now is your partner is going to tell the story, which I'm sure you knew. We already talked about that. You're going to tell a story. It doesn't have to be as long, and feel free to not judge yourself or be too nervous. You are holding someone else's story, so there is something special about that, but it's early in the morning and we've heard a lot of stories. So we're going to go just in the same order. I'm going to have Madeline tell Savannah's story. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
So she went on a trip with all of her
Oh,
family.
sorry. First, I forgot this part. You're going to tell it. No, this is my fault. Tell it as if you are Savannah.
Oh, okay.
So everyone, yeah, I totally left that out. Everyone tell your story as if you are that person. So I went to Bob's World or whatever it was. Okay, sorry, Madeline, you go ahead.
Okay. I went on a trip with my family to Gulf Shore, Alabama, with all of my like cousins and uncles, and we were swimming, and we had these small nets, and there were mini stingray, and one of them got really close to my face, and so I got really scared, but then I ended up actually catching it. Don't worry, I released it. I didn't kill it or anything. And then I pet the side of it, and it was very slimy.
Awesome. Thank you, Madeline. And will you shake that off and say, I am Madeline, I'm not Savannah?
I'm Madeline, I'm not Savannah.
Yeah, sometimes we call it in drama therapy de-rolling, which I think is something I didn't learn even in like high school or college theater. And I would get very much like when you're playing a role, you can sometimes kind of start living in that. And just saying like, I am Emily was a helpful thing to start practicing. Awesome. So Joshua, if you'll tell Laura's story, is that the order that we went in? Yeah. Okay, Joshua, if you'll tell Laura's story, go for it.
So I was in high school and we were about to perform the Addams Family musical. So, we decided that we were going to go eat because we had till 4, I believe. Or, school ended at 4, one of the two. And they had just opened this Mexican restaurant. And the thing is, I'm Mexican. So, I just love Mexican food. So I wanted to go to this Mexican restaurant and I wanted to, go with my friend. So I asked her and we were like, yeah, let's go. So we ran over there and we decided to get our food, and it was to go, but like it took a bit. So then don't get alarmed, don't worry. But we got in a car accident. Nobody was hurt or anything, and the first thing that came to my mind was calling the stage manager. But then my friend was like, shouldn't we call 911 first? And I was like, yeah. So I called my mom, and then I called 911, and then the stage manager. So we got there, and Hannah's family. So we have to put on this like whole thing of white makeup, and like my friend is like one of the makeup people, and so that was the thing. Like it was a big thing to be late, so lots of people were mad, especially this one person. But later on they found out, and they were like, "What? Why didn't you tell me?" I was so mad. But yeah.
Awesome. All right, shake it off and say, I am not Laura, I am Joshua.
I am not Laura, I am Joshua.
Good job. All right, and now Seth, I believe it's your turn to tell Rebecca's story.
So like when I was younger, me and my sister were really into Pac-Man. And so we made like these like little like paper ghosts, and we put them all up in this tree in our front yard, and we got squirt guns and we like squirted them, and then big rain came a couple days after, rainstorm, and like washed all of the little ghosts away. And then a couple days after that, we were in the car with my mom and we were going to the store or something, and then we came back and we saw this guy in our driveway, and we didn't know who this guy was. Like, he was just a stranger, and he was like putting some like package or something like on the steps, and my mom thought it was like a bomb or something, something weird like that. And then like he left like when he saw us, and he just got in his car and drove away. And then we went up, and it was this like washed out little ghost paper.
Thank you. You shake it off.
Hey,
I
Seth.
am not.
Yeah,
Hey, Seth. Perfect. Great. All right. Well, I think we're back around. So Savannah, you are telling Madeline's story.
When I was younger, I was a little Girl Scout, and I wanted to get all of the badges. So I knew that you could get a badge by going to see a show. So me and some friends or family went to go see Seussical the musical, and I thought it was really cool. And during intermission, I turned to who I was with and said, "That's going to be me. I'm going to be dancing around with people on the stage." And they kind of laughed it off, but then I actually ended up doing theater. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. You shake it off. I'm Savannah. I'm not Madeline.
I'm Savannah. I'm not Madeline.
And all right, Laura, your turn to tell Joshua's story.
Okay. So when I was, this is probably like 3 or maybe 4 years ago, but we were gonna take our dog on a walk, and so we like have our dog, and like, you know, there's other dogs there. It's not just my dog. And I was really into golden retrievers. I mean, like I still like them, but like now I like other kinds of dogs too. But like back then it was like golden retrievers. Yeah, so I saw this golden retriever and I was like, I have to pet that dog. And so I went, I asked the owner, and I was like, "Can I pet your dog?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So I sat down and I pet the dog, and you know, he like came up on me, he was like cuddling on me so I can pet him better. And I was like, okay, thank you. And we left. And we're in the car, and someone says like, "Do you smell that?" And I was like, so I checked, "Did you step in something?" They're like, "No." So I checked my shoe, and then I saw that on my pants I had like this gloop. And so when the dog was cuddling on me, he was just trying to get poop off his butt.
Great. Thank you. You are Laura. You are not Joshua.
I'm Laura. I'm not Joshua.
Awesome. And then Rebecca, you will tell Seth's story.
Okay, so I was born in Brownsville, Texas, and it's Brownsville, right? Pretty sure it's Brownsville. And yeah, okay. And me and my brother went to go to this laser tag place, and there was a birthday party of 10-year-olds, and we wanted to go play laser tag with them because it was fun. And I'm pretty sure it was the sister or the friend that saw all of them and went to their side and then started recruiting and like strategizing a plan to get back at Seth and like me and my brother. So they didn't win, obviously, because we were older, but they tried and it was really fun. So yeah.
Awesome. And if you'll shake that off and say, "I'm not Seth."
I'm not Seth, I'm Rebecca.
Awesome. Great. Okay, let's talk, people. What was it like? I'm curious about a few things. What was it like being I'm not going to lead you anywhere. You just tell me. What was that like?
It was, I thought it was a good way to make sure we're listening to each other and actually paying attention to what another person is saying to the point where you can say their story back. And I think that helped that if we were wanting to do a show together or something, this could be a good bonding thing to help us listen and understand just a little thing about the other people.
That's a really great point as a way to start establishing bonding and group cohesion, and then also get to know a little bit about your scene partner. That's great. Anyone else? Any thoughts? Yeah, Laura.
Okay, I thought it was a really interesting acting exercise because I'm more in like the director / arts administration / education path in my degree, not really like performance. And so it was just really fun to kind of like I took a lot of notes and just kind of like evaluate his mannerisms and where is he looking and kind of what really makes him him,
Yeah.
and then try to portray that.
Yeah, there's like a hyper attention switch that we switch on. Totally. Anyone else have thoughts? Just general thoughts. Joshua.
Well, I mean, it's the closest I've gone to acting since, school got out. So it was really fun. I also was able to pick up on some mannerisms. I didn't take notes. However, I did pick up on some things and I tried to apply them. It was very fun to be able, like Savannah said, it's like a type of thing where you have to pay lots of attention, and it's like fun and kind of feel like a type of bond type thing. And I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Well, great. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it, and that the bonding theme of I kind of look at it like you're holding space for someone else. You're telling their story, and kind of you get to, this is something y'all did in 10 minutes. And I think that, especially Laura in an arts administrative or a teacher position, which is what me and Seth do a lot of. It's like quick exercises like this, like just tell a story. It doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be real. And then there's already a bond kind of connected. I'm curious what it felt like, just for the sake of time, I'll kind of ask some more specific questions. What was it like watching your story being told versus being the one telling someone else's story? I'm curious about y'all's experience with that. Yeah, Rebecca.
So I just liked someone else telling the story because I wanted to see if they were listening or how they would tell the story, how they remembered it. And also at the same time, I didn't want to mess up their story because I didn't want to feel bad that it wasn't that I wasn't listening, it's just that I don't remember every little part of it. So.
Well, right. And it's not your story either. I think that's, if we switch into from just a theater actor, director, administrator to more drama therapy, the part, just like you said, Rebecca, there's this feeling of validation that I like to use this exercise for is, wow, someone paid attention to me. They heard my story and they're telling it back. And as a drama therapist, it's a really good way, if I'm working in a group, to go ahead and create some group trust. But I think it's also, you can do that with your cast. Anyone else thoughts of hearing your story being told? What was that like? Savannah.
It was funny to see which parts they remembered and the tiny little details that were left off. And it was, like you said, the validation of knowing somebody was actually listening to you was cool. And I thought it was a cool exercise.
Awesome. Any other thoughts? Madeline, anything?
It was weird to watch someone else do your story. It's interesting.
Tell me about
you
it.
notice things that you don't realize you do. I felt like I noticed this especially with accents. I don't realize I have a Southern accent, but I think I do a little bit, which is interesting. I don't know,
That's fun. Realizing little parts of yourself that you're like, oh man, I didn't know I did that. That's so fun. Seth, did you have any thoughts of your experience?
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching other people tell other people's stories, and then watching the person whose story being told, listening and nodding their head and be like, oh yeah, they got that detail. okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? And trying to like remember what they also said. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then just like very impressed on people's memories too. Like
I
we
know.
spent
I've done
probably
this
10 minutes.
exercise and I'm always, my heart's beating like, am I going to get it right? Am I going to do it?
Yeah.
I did this once and the woman I was doing it with, she just had a newborn baby and she brought her baby to class with her. And so she actually gave me her baby to hold when I told her story. And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But that feeling of like, yeah, I was literally holding her story. Great. So this is if we were like kind of looking at devising, the next step to this would be us to once again kind of popcorn out common themes. What did we see as connecting pieces or really opposing pieces in this? Any thoughts there? What was similar? What came out with a few people that we could take as we start to build our story? Any thoughts on it? Yeah, Rebecca.
See,
Maybe like family stories, like with your family and friends. Like
There was a
stories
lot
like
of family and friend. Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Anybody else thoughts of Laura?
I thought it was really interesting to see the juxtaposition between people's different mannerisms and like ways of speaking. Like, I got lucky because I think that Joshua speaks at I speak at a much faster pace than Joshua does. So I got really lucky because if I ever forgot a part of the story, I'd just be like, yeah, and then I'm like, okay, great, I remember what goes next. Okay, cool. There we go.
Yeah, the different speeds and how people deliver what they're saying. You all, it was interesting for me. I just said, go out, tell us a story. And it might have been different if we went out to breakout rooms, but you all kind of told a story of your childhood or something that happened in the past. So that's an interesting connection point for me as a director, being like, okay, like what's coming out here that we want to play with about being children and having these stories that mean something to us. Yeah, any other thoughts about? Yeah, Joshua.
I feel like especially since like we're in quarantine and we're kind of like, stuck and everything, we're looking back on this with more fond memories than before. Like, let's say if we were like, normal and we just got out of school, sure, it'd be excited and everything, but we wouldn't be looking back on the memories as if they were like, well, as if they weren't like as grandiose as we might be making out to be with all the small details we're remembering now more than ever. As well as being able to make out like what the other person like got right and everything and all that stuff.
Totally. And you
Very
mentioned like
interesting.
the feeling of like excitement. You all, when you were telling your stories, like there was a leaning in and your voices got more energized and you were telling your story. And it was really lovely to see like, okay, this is what this person cares about. And me as the listener, I'm leaning in because this is special to them.
Agreed.
We're running a little bit out of time, but the way that I like to end this exercise is if you could create, we'll go back to creating a sculpture. If you could create a sculpture based on either hearing your story being told, telling your story, just this group experience, what would your statue in the statue garden of the Museum of Zoom look like? And then, okay, great. Yeah, we have some people. I'm doing it too, just 'cause I got to listen to you all. Great, take a second to look at everyone's. That's really nice. All right, shake that out. And let's pretend that we go in the Statue Garden Museum of Zoom. There is a gift shop. And I would like to know what you are taking with you from the gift shop, from our time together. So it could be a word, it can be something that came up for you today, but what are you taking from the gift shop? Seth, what are you taking?
Sorry, I was on mute. I think I'm gonna take responsibility, especially for somebody else's story.
That's awesome. Laura, what are you gonna take from the gift shop?
I'll take attention to detail.
Attention to detail. Good. This gift shop has whatever you need in it. Savannah, what are you going to take from the gift shop?
An open mind.
An open mind. Wow, this is a great gift shop. I love it so much. Madeline,
I'll take really active listening.
active listening. Joshua, what are you taking from the gift shop?
Happiness and a small like type of return to theater.
Yeah, happiness and small return to theater. And Rebecca, what are you taking from the gift shop?
I would say good listening skills.
Good listening.
You need to be like listening to everyone. So.
Yeah. It like I'd like exercise like this because it feels like it matters because you are listening to someone else, but you are realizing how important it is when someone gets your details right too. Right? I think it hits home harder. Awesome. Thank you all so much for playing with me today. This is, like I said, this is like in the drama therapy realm, but also I think is easily, use it in whatever theater practice you do. I would love to, Seth, do we have time to do a few questions if they?
Absolutely. We have 10 minutes for Q&A.
Q&A? Go. Yeah, Laura.
Decide to pursue your master's, and what was your process for deciding which programs specifically to go into?
Okay, great question. I knew I wanted to go, I hate school. Let me just go ahead and say, I'm an educator and I do not like school. Yeah, some people are like, yep, same. So I knew I wanted to get my master's. I was living in Boston and I was teaching theater. And I was nannying for a child who was on the autism spectrum. And I went to a lot of his therapies and I was realizing so much of what he was doing in speech and OT, and just like general therapy was a lot of the same skills that we hit on as theater artists. And so I was like, how can I bring these worlds together? And so I just started looking up drama and therapy ? And a program came up that I went and interviewed at when I was living in Boston. And then I decided, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not ready to go to graduate school. And then 2 years later, the program that I was looking at actually moved to an online format. So I go up to Boston in the summer and do the rest online. And that was a big decision point for me because I wanted to go to a school that I could still continue to live where I lived, direct, run a company, act, and kind of do school on my own time. So that's where I got. And then even the first year, I was like, why am I here? What am I doing here? I don't know. And then I just finished my second year and I have one more left. And I feel a little bit more like things are falling into place. And my other friends who were in graduate school, I feel like they shared similar sentiments. If they were like, I wanted to go to graduate school because I would learn more. I'd feel more confident. And the first year is like, I don't feel any better and I'm spending thousands of dollars. But I think it's also, it was something I wanted to do to connect with a wider community. There's not a lot of drama therapists in Texas. There's like 3 and they're all in Houston. So I knew that going to a graduate program, my network would expand. And that was important to me as well. Does that answer? Any other questions? Directing. Yeah, Laura. Yes,
What's
Laura.
your undergrad in?
So I have a BFA in acting.
Okay.
So I did the acting track. I went to a program that was really like introduced us to everything. We got to do tech. I had to take a lot of stage management. Seth and I both I did the stage management thing for a long time because I get hired doing that after college a lot more frequently than auditions, and it paid better for someone who's working as an artist. Yep. But I think stage management is also, especially as a director now, it was, I didn't go to school for my minor's in directing, but it could have been in anything. But being a stage manager taught me so much about the directing process because I was in that room all the time. If I could go back, I'd probably do like a business minor, because I run a business and I'm having to learn as I go. Any other questions? Directing, acting, general questions?
What are your tips for after high school?
Tips for after high school. Okay, are y'all all, who's in school, high school still? Who's in Laura, did you graduate?
No, I'm an undergrad.
You're an undergrad. Tips for after high school. Be nice to yourself. I think Seth and I talked about this on a previous, we did like a little video, kind of my thoughts. I think if I could give my younger self a lot of advice, it would just be like, trust yourself, because a lot of people are going to tell you this is what the industry is. And a lot of people are going to tell you these are what the expectations are. And I won't put that on you, but hopefully a lot of people told me that, like, this is what you need to do. This is the path to get there. And I really hunkered down and was like, yep, they're right. They know I don't know anything, and kind of ignored my instincts and what I wanted to do. And I wasn't happy. So as soon as I was like, I'm going to start my own theater company, and I don't need to have a master's in theater to do that. I'm going to learn. I'm going to, I don't know, just really trusting yourself and knowing that the decisions that you make for yourself are going to be better than the decisions anybody else can make for you. And there's always rules. I think there's always rules, like, this is your type and this is the way to get to Broadway. And there's the amount of people who have not followed the path and gotten to the end goal that you want to get at, I think is more frequent than the people who are following this course that were told by our teachers. Not to throw that out, but I didn't trust myself enough, I guess. And I'd say, lean into what feels good for you.
Thank you.
And if you want to like move to a farm and have chickens, that's also fine. That's what
I heard some really great advice that's very similar to that. Ashley White, who all of these videos are up on the DSM YouTube page. But she said that everything that you've learned in high school, imagine it like it is like a kitchen, and you have this giant pot, which is like your life, and everything that you've learned are ingredients that you can put into the pot. And after you graduate, it's your job to pick and choose what ingredients you want to put into your stew. And that stew is unique to you. And whatever you use is what's going to kind of make you who you are as you move forward, kind of thing.
I love that. And I also love the idea of like, and if that stew sucks, if it's bad, guess what? Like, you have some more ingredients and you can make another, you can try again. Mm-hmm. You can try theater. I mean, we're in a weird time, but I always say theater is not going anywhere if you want to do it. I just had a video reunion with the people I went to college with, and half the group is still working in the theater, and then half they're like, we are mad theater supporters and have 3 kids. And that was just really cool to see too, that all of our paths led in very different directions. Anyone else? Directing, acting, wishing?
We have time for one more quick question.
Oh, one more question. If no one else, Laura has it. Laura has it.
So before you started your company, what kind of way did you find directing jobs, especially in the Dallas area?
Great. I didn't. I'm going to be clean with you. I moved to Dallas 3 years ago. So I did not have any directing jobs in Dallas before. I just said, this is what I'm doing. And I did it. I did kind of, yeah, that's what I did. And kind of, it's whatever path that you need to be on. I did assistant direct when I was living in Nashville and Boston. So that kind of let me know, like, okay, I'm into this. But I think Seth runs a company too. And you just being in this world, you know people who actors love to read and act. You're like, come over to my house. We're going to do this script. Whatever training that you need to do to feel confident, I think don't let that be in somebody else's hands. Just do it. Just do it if you want to do it, because you're only going to get better if you try. And I think failure is feedback. So I've directed some real stinkers, and I learned from them. But yeah, I think just jump in and say, I'm directing. That's one of the rules where I'm like, you don't have to AD for 10 years before you become a director. And just submit. I think when I did move here, I know we're at time. When I moved here, I sent emails to a lot of directors in town. I was like, hi, my name's Emily Faith. I'm moving to town. I'm new. I'm interested in the work you're doing. Can I take you to coffee? And some people took me up on that. And that was just a good way to get people know that I was interested in their work and make some relationships. Yeah. And I did that when I moved to Boston and everywhere else that I've moved. I've been really annoying. Hi, I'm here. Can I buy you coffee?
And that's called networking. And that's a very, very good skill to have.
It's annoying, but it's effective.
Yes. Thank you, Emily, for all of this really great advice and this wonderful masterclass.
Thank y'all.
yeah, we are at time. If anyone has any further questions or just wants more information about anything, send me an email. Send us an email at Dallas Summer Musicals. There'll be some in the description below when we put this masterclass on YouTube. And there's also tons of video contents on our YouTube page. Definitely check that out. We have tons of advice for if you're pursuing a BA or BFA in theater. And what kind of job opportunities there are in our line of work.
All of them.
So many. There's so many opportunities out there. But yeah, we are so grateful to have y'all here for our last virtual masterclass. You've been wonderful. Share these with your friends. Viewers who are watching this in the future, thank you for watching. And try these exercises at home with your friends and family. And just remember that Dallas Summer Musicals is a resource for you. We want to be here for you. If you need anything, if you have any questions, if we can help in any way, please let us know. We understand that this is a very weird time, and we want to make ourselves available for you all to help support your career and your pathway. So that's Emily's email, right?
That's my website. If you want to talk or have any more questions, you can also check that out.
Yeah, I'll give you all a second to either take a picture of that or write it down, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this masterclass. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.